Let me show you how I built this cool floating shelf concept for my son's room. For the two side frames of this project, I did 1x2 pine boards with mitered edges. For the shelving, I did 1x6 pine boards with a straight cut edge. This is the partially assembled shelf. This is what it should look like. When you want to define the interior width of the frame, you use a shelf to make sure it's a nice tight fit, then glue and nail everything together. I just created a template. I'm going to be holding this in place and then be able to do it on the exact same side at the same height without really measuring. I use a template to drill the holes on both sides and then finish drilling them all the way through. You'll see me flip them over, and then I'm going to do a countersink so that when I screw them into the wall, the screws are flush. This is where things got a little tricky. I knew that I wanted about 4.5 to 5 inches of the shelving to extend beyond the frames so that the framing interior width was about 19.5 inches, and then the 5 inches sticking out on the edge. So I went ahead and found level with my top holes and then screwed them into the wall. Next, I had to make sure that the frames were vertically level. Once I did that, I was able to use like a pinprick to mark the holes where they needed to be drilled into the walls. So I did that. I was able to attach the shelves to the walls on the bottom as well. Then it was time for me to start thinking about where my shelving was going to be floating because I needed to add those supports in. You can see me getting started on that process here. I decided to use a black stain on this shelf system. I just thought it looked really pretty. You get to see all the wood grain in the wood, but it's definitely noticeable when you walk in a room, especially on a light wall. Once the stain was dry, I used polyacrylic to go over every surface. This is a great protection against scratches, just resists any damage and protects the wood, makes it stay nice. I installed these little support blocks. This is where the shelf is going to go. These 3 placement blocks plus this is 8.5 inches. So then when this is placed here, the next shelf goes here. Because of that, I'm going to do another section of these blocks. This is where the next support block will go. This is 8.5 inches, and then that leaves this at 8.5 inches. I dabbed each support piece with wood glue, put it in place, and nailed it with the nail gun. Then I grabbed my shelf placeholder and my 3 spacer blocks, and I did it again. Placed it, nailed it. Installing these shelves was easy. I had already drilled the holes, used a small screwdriver to attach them, placed the floating shelves, checked everything with the level, and it's done. What do you think?